If you go back a little in time, you have to understand the foundations of the modern states, which were laid in the 18th century in France, Germany, and so on. They mean the establishment of what we now call, democracy, but you need to have pillars. And one of these pillars is the monopoly of violence, which is given to the state. And this is so common that you now think the police should solve that you don't realize how long it took in France or Germany or the UK for this to be set up. So the establishment of modern democracies, of civilized society, goes hand in hand with the capacity of the state to assert the law. There is never, and there has never been a case anywhere in the world where people will act nicely, just spontaneously. People have, what you can have is legitimacy or not of power. If your power is applied in a legitimate way, for example, if you fight crime in the streets of France, for example, whether that power is applied in a legitimate way or not. And therefore, in the case of deforestation, it's never been a situation where people would start doing it. There is, first of all, like I said, there is a legal framework which establishes a limit to how much deforestation you can have inside your property, which has been systematically defied to recover that. The other part of the legal framework is that any cut in forest, in the Amazon or in the Savannah, has to be authorized by an entity of typically the state government, the local government. So when you see in the alert system a cluster of new deforested areas, it turns out to be efficient from the point of view of mobilization to get some helicopters there with the federal police and the environmental agencies, go there and say, where's your authorization? If you don't, I'm going to burn your machines. And you actually burn the machines, burn. You don't confiscate. It used to be the time when people would confiscate the big bulldozers. No longer. Because they would go back to the judge and and they get the machines back. Nowadays, the law says the government has the right to burn. They pick up a enormous truck, which is deforesting, and they just burn it. And unless you have a permit, because the problem here is that so much Amazon has been deforested already. It's very hard to get a legal, valid permit. So since maybe now, by our accounts, 91 or 90% of deforestation is illegal. So whoever you get is illegal. And again, it's a crime. It's a crime from the point of view of the law and should be treated as any crime, like a burglary in a city or someone assaults a bank or whatever robbery. It's a crime. The guy has to be punished. So by treating this not as something light, but by treating it under the same mechanisms that establish democratic societies. It is the only way humanity knows how to get out of the jungle. So the legitimacy of the whole process is that the information, obviously, you need qualified information. You should never go there with your helicopters, with your federal police, if the information turns out to be wrong. You don't want to go there. No, in the middle of nowhere.
Burn someone's
pick up a helicopter, planes, and then pick up the bulldozer and say, no, this is legal. Or, no, nothing's happening here. So the information producers have to be absolutely aware that they are in very similar positions as the doctors that, for example, diagnose you with a disease. They have to be very careful. You cannot just say you have cancer. You have to be very no. It's a no. Serious.
No, but that's a great analogy. That's why I laugh, because it's, I think, treating it as something as serious as that. Yeah,
absolutely. You need to be careful about your diagnosis. You need to be experienced, and you need to do that on a absolutely regular basis.
If you found this conversation interesting, you can watch the full episode right here. And all these conversations are also available as audio-only podcast episodes. So if you want to listen to the full conversation, I'll have links in the description to the episode, to some of the most popular podcast apps like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. Everything down below.